record. All right, guys, welcome to the TFE call tonight. So excited you guys are here. And we just have an amazing speaker tonight. I got to meet Andy at the Diamond Retreat, and really before that, Olivia and I both got to meet him in person there, but we really had kind of known him a little bit more from being part of Destined for Greatness, our upline team. And so it was really cool for me to get to, and I know Olivia will second this, it was really cool to get to know a guy in this business besides Tony Stay, Lindsay's husband. He was the only one that I knew as a male coach. So then I got to meet Andy and a couple other guys, but just a guy of character, integrity, really has an awesome, successful business, is a great husband, a father of 4 kids. He's a diamond coach. He's also a P90X instructor, certified instructor, and SC All-Star. All of those things are just incredible accomplishments. And so it's really cool to be able to hear from him tonight. Andy, we've got a guy on. We've got a couple guys probably coming on tonight, so that's sweet that they get to kind of hear from you as well as an experienced male coach in this business, which isn't rare, but it's a little rare for our team. So that's going to be good for us. So anyway, I'm going to hand it over to you, but thank you so much again for doing this. So it's an honor to have you on. So go ahead, Andy. You can take it from here.
It's an honor to be here. Can you guys hear me? Am I muted?
I'm going to unmute you. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, there we go.
All right, Andy. There you go.
Well, it's an honor. It's an honor for me to get to speak to the I totally got your team wrong. Fearless Empire. That's it. You guys are killing it. And not just that, but it's like I would join your team. I would. So I love the guy, your character, your culture you guys got going, and that's cool. A lot of you probably have not heard my story. I don't want to get real deep into that, but Jessica kind of mentioned to me earlier, like, how do you get more male coaches onto your team? And I really want to stick to the theme of what I want to talk to you about, in running your own personal marathon. But I wanted to take a short minute to share a little bit about myself. It's like I never signed up to be a coach. I never became a coach to be a coach. My wife wanted to do P90X, and long story short, she signed me up with my email to be a coach because she didn't know what it was, to get her Shakeology cheaper. And the next thing I knew, I showed up in Destined for Greatness like, what the crap is this? So it was by the grace of God that I ended up with the team I did, and how I became a coach is a total miracle, because I wasn't looking for it. I didn't know I was looking for it, but I really was. And it kind of just found me. So moving into that, I know we all kind of have our own expectations of what we want in this business. We all have different expectations of the goals that we put on ourselves. And I have recently went through a really cool Brennan Burchard training that I'm just kind of going to regurgitate it out to you tonight. I'm going to give you 10 things that you can consistently create this list. So grab a pen and paper, but 10 things that you are going to be able to, no matter where you are in your business, whatever your next goal is, that you can go through this list of 10 things and see where you are, maybe where you're struggling, why you're not meeting that, or it'll give you a good clarity on not just where you're going, but if you'll ever actually achieve that goal that you have in your mind. But with that, I know, before I get to that, I know something I dealt with early on for a long time, and I carried it for way too long, and it held me up in my business, was comparison. I was a very slow learner. When I started as a coach, I had about 100 friends, and I didn't even know you could create a group on Facebook. So I was technologically retarded. YouTube, you could forget that, but I have a YouTube channel now. So I've demanded a lot of training of myself to learn a lot of stuff. And I have some of my coaches kind of stick me on a pedestal and go, well, I don't even know how you do YouTube. And I watched a YouTube video on how to make a YouTube video. That's how I learned how to do YouTube. So if you want to learn something, the training is there. Kind of demand it of yourself to go after that, because we have tons of resources available. But the biggest thing I want you guys to just think about right now, start preparing your mind right now about, is whatever your next big goal is for your business. And maybe it's not your business. Maybe it's a fitness goal. Maybe it's the next 20 pounds or 30 pounds. Whatever goal it is in your life. I don't care if it's to have a better marriage. Whatever goal that's big to you right now, kind of start thinking about that. Maybe write that at the top of the page. You don't have to show anybody. Nobody else is going to see it. But kind of have that in your mind. And I used the term marathon when I was talking to Jessica. And I've heard it put this way. I know we need to really create a vision on where we want to go. And I tell every one of my challengers before they come on that motivation is temporary. It's only going to last a little while and it's going to burn out. We talk about our why and why that's so important. You know, we have to create that vision of where we want to go and where we're headed. You know, and that vision is what's going to pull us to our destination. But a lot of times I think we can get caught up in different little things that's going to sidetrack us throughout the day. I can have a perfect plan of action of what I want to do today, and I got 4 sick kids, or something comes up and I get completely derailed. And how do we get back on track? And the things that we want to do, everybody in this business deals with horrible days and getting sidetracked. And then I think when we kind of get steamrolled with something, you know, that life throws at us, you know, our long vision just looks that much further away, you know, and it starts creating some doubt, questions in our own mind. The biggest thing I want you to take from this right here is, just like if you were to run a marathon, you know, don't look at it as 26 point whatever miles. I'm not a runner. Look 5 feet in front of you. That's your focus. I want you guys to be present every day. We need those visions, and creating those goals. Those are awesome. And we're going to kind of go through this list tournament that's going to help us get there. But for me, and because, you know, it took me forever to go diamond, and I was one of those people that used to listen to Lindsay say it's just a decision, and I would make an excuse for why it wasn't. I was an excuse maker. I made so many excuses for why, you know, I'm from a small town, or I'm a guy and you're all big blonde-headed bombshells, and I don't look like you. I'm bald. I could use any excuse in the world I wanted, but that's all it was. It was an excuse. I wasn't looking 5 feet in front of me and taking action on where I needed to go. And it wasn't, I was about 8 months into this business until I just finally decided I need to take control and take ownership of me. Look 5 feet in front, and that's my next step. Whatever I'm going to do to grow me today is my next step, and it's just 5 feet. And I'm just going to keep trucking along at 5 feet, and I'm going to be present every day. There's things that I'm going to sacrifice for my business, and there's things that I'm never going to sacrifice for my business. One's my marriage. One's being a parent. You know, we have to set our priorities and be okay with the process of our growth and design it around what's most important to our lives. Okay? You know, even though we are all tied together as Beachbody coaches, we all have different priorities. We're all in different seasons in our life, and we all grow at different processes and at different levels. And we need to be at peace with that and have faith and trust that where we're going to go and where we're wanting to go is going to come, and it's going to come at the proper time, as long as I'm doing what I can today and I'm present today in my business and my priorities. So with that said, I'm going to move into this list. Like I said, I went through this Burchard training. I love Brendan Burchard. I love a lot of his stuff. And I recently went through this, and it showed me some insight on some areas where I was struggling, and it really helped me. And as soon as I went through this, I go, I got to share this. This would be perfect to share with this team and what you're doing. But in growing or pursuing any big goal, as long as it's big to you, it doesn't matter what it is, but any goal that you want to achieve, there's this list of 10 things that we need to kind of check through and see where we are on whether or not we're going to achieve it. And each one of these I talk about, you can list just 1 through 10. And when I talk about 1, just off the top of your head, I want you to rate yourself from a 1 to a 10. And at the end, you're going to have a real good idea on the area you need to maybe focus on or take some action in getting better at. Sorry, I got notes here, or I'm going to get lost. But the first one, and as far as rating yourself, 1 being I'm very far away from that, or 10 being, yes, that's me, I'm ready, I got it, totally understand it. Okay, the first one is future identity. Like if your goal, let's say your goal is to be a 15-star superstar diamond coach, can you actually right now with where you're at, can you visualize being that person, being the caliber of person to achieve that? Do you visualize that, and is that real to you? Because if it is, I would say write down a 10. If you're like more like maybe 8-star, but yeah, 15 would be cool, you're in the 5-6 range. Do you really, whatever your goal is, it doesn't matter. Do you really visualize yourself 20 pounds lighter? I mean, that's something I'll ask my challengers. I'll ask them to visualize it and write it down. Write it down in present tense. I am a super mom for losing 20 pounds, or, my kids think I'm Superman because, I have them write it down in present tense. But the first thing is, where are you at in your future identity? Where do you see yourselves at? As a 1 and a 10 as far as reaching your goal. The second one, I don't want to take up a whole lot of your time, so I will kind of move through these kind of fast, but I'll give you time to write. The second one is intrinsic value. And what that means is, would you pursue this goal or your dream if you weren't receiving anything from it? Do you feel real purpose and joy in going after this goal? And I hope that, just that stirs other things up in your thought process there too. As far as where you are personally, it's like, am I doing this because my coach is pushing me? Or am I pushing this because I want to do this? Am I losing the weight because my husband thinks I'm fat or my wife thinks I'm fat? Or am I doing this because I'm falling in love with fitness and this is becoming a passion of mine? Is this something that you would do that you're still going to get intrinsic value from it, even if you never get anything in return? Monetarily anyways. You're going to get joy and excitement and personal fulfillment, and that's what we want you to have in pursuing this goal. The third is utility value. What will you gain from it? Are you going to gain something from it? Is it monetary? Because if it's a cash incentive, if it's a payment, that's fine. But will you gain some things that are tangible, like our personal development? I love personal development. I gain knowledge from that I can not only share with my team, but my family, other friends that I come into contact with. So what kind of utility value or monetary value am I going to gain for pursuing this goal? And I mean, and as far as rating yourself, do you see the utility value there? And you know exactly what it is, then you're a 10. If you're really unsure, if you have no clue that you're ever going to get, or if you don't see yourself achieving any utility goal in what you're trying to pursue, then you're like a 1. So that's kind of how you know how to rate yourself there. Number 4 is opportunity costs. And this is one I think every single person screws up. at some point in time. Maybe not every person, but probably 99% of us do. Do you really know what it's going to cost you to pursue this goal? Are you really taking into context, all of your priorities on, how much time is this going to take me? How much, not watching TV is this going to take me? How much sleep am I going to lose if I'm going to really push for this goal? I mean, the cost, the time frame that I want to do this in, certain things like that. Am I at a 10 to where I can fully devote X amount of time and be okay with losing this, costing this over here to pursue this over here? Because if you're not, or if you don't know where you are, you're gonna have to try to rate yourself there and where you are and how to maybe cut some of the fat off to where you can focus more on pursuing this goal, or maybe stretch out your time frame or whatever it is that you're trying to get there. But that's going to give you a good basis of understanding the costs. And it could be, you could lose some relationships. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with, maybe limiting your time with certain people? Certain, friends, could be family. Could be a hobby. Something that you actually really love and enjoy right now, but maybe this goal is more important at the moment. You got to consider the cost, because there's always cost. Some kind of cost in anything we do. There's always a cost. So, number 5, delay time. Are you willing to fully pursue this and understanding the time delay that it may take to achieve it? For you with where you are right now, are you totally okay with, building your business for 2 years and never getting a dime in return? Are you willing to, how long are you willing to really pursue something until you get the payoff? Because I think there's a huge gap in this market and in this type of business setting where somebody will look and say, this is not fast money. This is not get rich quick. This is hard, dedicated work, and it's usually internal. This is probably a bigger, one of the best ways I've heard it put is, Beachbody is a personal growth company designed as health and fitness, because that's really what we are. We're internally looking to ourselves to grow ourselves to become those, bigger, stronger, better people, the leaders that we need to be to achieve the things that we want to achieve. Now, are we totally okay with reaching that goal and understanding the time delay that it's going to take to become the person that's capable of achieving that? Because that varies for everybody. And there's many different variables that are going to go into achieving that goal, especially when you're talking about building a network and a team, and getting that circle around you that's going to help you achieve that goal. Number 6. This one is probably a big one, and it was a big one for me when I started. Not so much anymore, but it was. This was a big hiccup, big crutch I had, was personal control. And that is, are you owning it? And I'm not talking just owning it, but do you really believe you have the absolute personal control to move the needle forward to achieve the goal that you have at the top of your list? Do you feel like you have control, or do you kind of sit back and make maybe some excuses on there's too many other variables that are affected? This is all being ran by, office of really rich white men, and I have no control. There's all kinds of different excuses that we can use. But are you taking personal responsibility and ownership? You're not. I know for me, I would struggle for a long time And I would send out these negative thoughts. I wouldn't speak them over people, but I was still thinking them. And I really thought that, and I think that's a very important thing to take into context. I know this is a little off topic here, but whatever you're sending out, you're thinking, because I used to sit and I would think, man, how come my team is not working as hard as me? How come they're not putting in the work? How come they're not hitting success? How come they're not taking this as serious as I'm taking this? Because I truly believed in working and putting value into those that I had on my team instead of just going to look for more. But I still continued to add to my team, but I would send out these negative thoughts and these negative emotions just into the atmosphere that I know was coming right back to me, and it was affecting me. But I wasn't taking ownership of my thoughts. I wasn't taking ownership of what I could control to grow myself, to become the leader, to attract the people that I needed, that wanted to lead and build this business and join my team and my culture. So where are you on the scale of feeling that you have absolute personal control? There are things we can't control, but of your own personal destination of reaching that goal. Where are you on 1 to 10 there? Number 7. This can be a big one, and that's social support. I see all these beautiful faces here in front of me, so there's some wonderful social support right here on your team, but it could go deeper than that. Maybe your spouse is just absolutely does not believe in what you're doing. So you don't have that personal support. Maybe you have a boss that really is very controlling of your time, and if they know that you're building this business on the side, you feel this disconnect to be able to fully give to your passion of building this business. It could be a best friend that absolutely doesn't, think what you're doing is legit. Are you, as far as rating yourself there, do you have a 10? Yes, I absolutely believe that I have the social support and the people around me that's going to champion me to achieve this goal? Or are you still dealing with, fear of maybe rejection? And if you are, maybe you are centered around by a lot of negative people that don't believe in you right now. And if that's the case, how do you move out of that? You have to learn to limit yourself to an extent with those people, some that you can and some you can't. But you have to build that positive circle around you. And for us, I'll be honest, it's easy because it's these faces right here you see on this team. So I would say right now that's probably not a big one as far as your team goes and having a support system somewhere, but that may be a bigger issue in a closer relational setting or work setting if you're working another job. So rate yourself there. Number 8, bandwidth belief. It's kind of a big one. Bandwidth belief. And that is, do you believe you have the time to commit to achieve that goal? Do you believe you have all the time that you need to achieve that goal? And I used to make that excuse too. Well, I just don't have enough time to really put into this like I want to put into it. And I would set a big goal, and then I'd make the excuse that I didn't hit that goal is that I didn't have enough time. I didn't set my bandwidth belief to a rational setting for where I was. I set a big old massive goal and said I'm going to hit that in 2 months, and I wasn't putting the proper time in to achieve that goal. So you kind of got to learn to backtrack. What's it going to take to get to this goal? And do I have the time frame do I have the time to dedicate to achieve that? Because if my goal is 15-star diamond by the end of next year, I'm going to have to put some serious time in to achieve that. And do I have the bandwidth time to do that? And do I believe that it's there and that I'm capable of doing that? And not just that, are the people around me going to be okay with me able to do that? You got to rate yourself there on where you are on this bandwidth time of achieving your goal. And we'll get into that a little more with the last one, but number 9 is resource availability. Do you fully believe that you have absolutely all the resources you need in your circle or at your fingertips to achieve the goal that you want to achieve? 2 years ago, before I ever started P90X, I was hitting a gym, 5-6 days a week, trying to lose weight, trying to do it all myself, and thought I had all the resources I needed because I was stuck in arrogant bro science. Oh, I got the weights, I'm drinking my protein, but the resources were actually wrong. As soon as I put in something as silly as a DVD that was right there in front of me the whole time, the light bulbs came on and everything came, opened my mind to real health and fitness and, dynamic fitness. And you got to think about that with your business too. As pertaining to your goal, do you believe that you have the training to become the person that you need to be to achieve that goal? Do you believe that you have the time to put into the training to hit that goal? Do you believe you have the budget that you want to invest to reach that goal? Do you have the following to reach that goal? Do you have the network there? Or is that something you got to start working on to build? You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of different areas pertaining to this business on your resource availability. If I want 200 on my team this year, but I only have 100 Facebook friends and I'm only using Facebook to build my team, my resource availability, I would be rated at a 1. I don't have it. It's not there. I'm going to have to add more people to my network to achieve that goal. And be sure that you're not blaming the resources that you have. Some people may say, you can get caught up in the blame game of your own resources, or you could say the training I had wasn't no good. Well, that's crap, because we've all had the same training and some are killing it and some of us aren't. So the resources are there. We can't put blame on the resource. We have to always continually to look inward and say, is the resource availability there? Yes. Am I taking personal control and responsibility for that for that resource that's available to me and applying it? So that's number 9. Number 10 is, this is kind of a weird one, autonomy. And you think, what is autonomy? And what that is do you fully 100% believe with where you are right now that you have, the permission and trust with those around you to fully pursue this goal? Rated 1 to 10. That could be, that again could be from your close relationships. Excuse me. It could be from your present employer. It could be, a lot of different things. And I think one of the best ways to move, let's say you don't. Let's say you don't have that, that permission. You don't feel like you have that permission. Let's say you're at a 2. Let's say your spouse is like, whatever, you can play with it, but they're really not believing in what you're doing. They really think it's just a gimmick or a gag. I would say one of the best things that you can do is just win them over with small steps of victory. And consistency, hitting Success Club, when we're talking specifically this business, a rake advancement. And I think that's one of the best ways to do is to set those goals, set those marks And that's the beauty of Team Beachbody and the way it's set up is you have a way to gauge your growth, whether it's team cycle bonuses, it could just be income. It may not be rank advancement. I don't know a lot of diamond coaches are making bigger checks than 3-star diamonds. It all depends on the system and what your goals are. So, but if you can prove to other people, that you feel like you need their permission, and I would say that only these kind of people would be those that are extremely close to you, and I'm talking probably immediate family members. Aside from that, I would say everybody else can just go fly a kite. But, you may not be in that position. But that's where you need to rate yourself. Do you feel like you fully have permission to pursue this with what's gauged between numbers 1 and 9 and how you ended up rating yourself there? But I hope, and I know this is kind of rushed, but I hope that this little list, that you can take this little list and apply this to a lot of different areas in your life, because I really believe you can. One thing, if you got anything out of this, I guarantee you I did not do it justice to the way Brendan Burchard presented it. So go to his website and find this. Maybe I can send Jessica the link and she can share it with you guys and really it's like a 40-minute process to go through this whole thing, and he talks a lot and a lot more in depth. But this is something real quick that we can take right now and say, okay, where am I struggling? Maybe I'm struggling in the time delay thing. Maybe I'm struggling in the opportunity cost. I didn't take into effect how much time this is going to take away from my family to reach this goal that I'm really wanting to reach. And I got to reweigh my priorities and create that time frame that's, okay with the family and it's okay with me, and I'm allotted this much time, and I got to be okay with that. It's a great way to reevaluate not just your present goals, but where you want to go and whether or not you're really going to achieve it, because it's all going to depend on what you're willing to give and grow through in each one of these and moving forward. And my prayer for you guys, your takeaway for this would be that you just take that inner look and with where you are, with where you want to go, and be okay with where you are today. That you're only looking, 5 feet in front of you. Create that future vision for yourself and where you want to go. But don't get caught up in all the chaos that's going around, or think that you got to have everything figured out or know everything about this or that. You got to know with, just stay true to your natural self and your identity. Jessica wanted me to talk a little bit on how to attract more guys to your team. I don't know, because I don't attract many guys. I attract a lot of females to my team. I do have some guys, but it's like they're old buddies that it's like, dude, you're going to do this. It's just a matter of time. I would say just 100% be yourself, unapologetically, just like we've always heard. Be your goofy self, be your funny self, be your quirky self, be your nerdy self, be your mushy self. Whoever it is that you are, those are the people that you're going to attract and you're going to want to work with anyway. So who gives a crap if they're male or female? I wasn't going to tell her she may not want to hear what I have to say, but that's kind of the truth. Don't worry about it. Just be yourself. Just be totally content in who you are, who you're becoming, and who you're going to be. And don't be afraid to talk about that. But that's all I have. I hope you guys found that insightful a little bit there. So.
No, Andy, that was awesome. Thank you. And I think it's really good for us to kind of look at all those areas. I know you guys, I don't think I've shared this with all of you, but